Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Balearic Yacht Show. We are now in the webinar about refitting in the Balearics and why you should be doing it. I'm your host today. My name is Ralph Dazert. I work for Superyacht Times. You might know us. We are based in Amsterdam, and we track everything that is happening in the superyacht world. I'm assisted today by my colleague Justus, who is sitting in Amsterdam. I would like to ask each of our panel members to introduce themselves. Will, can we start off with you, please?
We certainly can. My name is William Kay. I'm the captain of the 73-meter Lursen motor yacht Coral Ocean. We are currently in refit, in a major refit here in Palma.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Rupert, please.
Hi, yeah, good morning. Firstly, thank you to the Balearic Yacht Show for hosting this webinar, and of course, Superyacht Times. My name is Rupert Savage. I'm the Group Commercial Director and Board Member of GYG PLC, a company which is listed on the London Stock Exchange. We have our head offices and facilities here in Palma for over 40 years, but operating globally out of Barcelona, La Ciotat in France, Germany, Holland, and on the east coast of the States, Fort Lauderdale in South Florida, West Palm Beach, and Savannah, Georgia. And we trade principally under our key brands and activities of Palma, which is yacht painting in both the refit and new build world, Technocraft for scaffolding, containment, and fittings works related to our paint contracts, and finally Palma Yacht Supply, Superyacht Chandler with retail outlets and worldwide delivery services, as well as a key trade supplier.
That's all of the activities. Thank you very much. Now I would like to move over to our other three panel members, which are live in building in Palma. So if we can move over to them, please, so they can introduce themselves. Carlos and Tony and Victor, are you there?
Yeah, hi, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hi,
good morning, everyone.
Maybe you can just briefly introduce yourselves one by one, please.
Well, Carlos. Well, hi, good morning. I'm Carlos Albons. I'm the production manager of STP. And yeah, as you know, in the middle of all you guys trying to get you as much space you have and you need for your general refit.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Tony Salom, the CEO of Naughty Paints. The company is founded in the 1971. This year we'll have 50 years, the company. The company is dedicated to the yacht painting. And also we have different chandleries, two in Palma, one in France, and another in Barcelona. Normally we operate with the paint division in Barcelona, in south of France, and Balearic Islands.
Thank you. Victor?
Hello, Ralph. Thank you for organizing this together with the Balearic Yacht Show and for inviting us, of course. I'm Victor Perez. I'm Commercial Director of Astilleros de Mallorca. We are a full-service shipyard based in Palma. We have two main locations. One is our own yard, and the other one is based inside STP, where Carlos works. We give every kind of services to turnkey projects, and we operate with yachts from 30 to 80 meters out of the water and up to 110 meters in the water.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I would like to kick off with something we observed. Superyacht Times, we track refits going on, and I had a look at the last three calendar years, so 2018, 2019, 2020, and we noticed a growing trend in the number of refits and maintenance being done in Palma. Now, Carlos, do you also see a rising trend in the numbers of yachts coming to your yard?
Yes, we do. And not only that, we early notice a large increase of the sizes that the yachts are getting every day. As you know, the yachts are getting bigger, larger, and those are sailing boats and motor yachts. We accommodate both in our facilities. Just checking some numbers that our marketing department is putting together. Last season, we got 1,100 projects in STP, 45% being sailing yachts, and sizes between 15 and the biggest was 96 meters. So yes, I think the superyacht industry is growing, and we got more projects. And even considering these difficult times, we are not doing so bad at the moment.
No, it was my impression indeed that the numbers for 2020 so far are already higher than all of last year together. So it should be a very good year indeed. And Victor, do you also see a growing growth in the numbers of yachts coming to your yard?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not for so long in Astilleros. I've worked in the last 4 years, but since I joined the shipyard, we've lacked of space every season. And especially in the last seasons, what I see more is that it's not only yachts coming for general services, but also for doing refits. We've done superstructure modifications, a lot of full paints together with Palma and Naughty paints. We've done projects with new engines, new generators. So it's not only that Palma, both our shipyard and STP are being full in the last years, but we're also seeing the increase on the complexity of the projects we're doing here, which is obviously great for us. And yeah, we're definitely looking forward for next seasons to be able to keep on working on complex projects and to fill the yards, of course.
Okay, thank you. I will get in a minute also to Rupert and Tony about this. I would just want to ask, we also have a client here on the webinar, or well, the representative of the client, of course, which is Will, the captain of Coral Ocean. Could you maybe shed a little light on why you're doing this refit in Palma, Will?
Yes, I think from our owner's perspective and our program, one of the biggest factors was the ability to go to a shipyard and to run our own project. We have a large project team here running a major refit. Allows us to work directly with our subcontractors, of which Palma has a huge amount of very good contractors locally, as well as the choice of bringing anyone in from anywhere, any part of Europe or the world. So that flexibility ultimately in the project is a major driver, along with the fact that we're also a client of Astilleros de Mallorca, having a whole lot facility here, and a top metal contractor for us is the main reason we're here in Palma.
So you have everything there. You can bring in the people easily, and so it sounds like you're doing a pretty extensive project on Coral Ocean. Could you let us in a little bit on what you're doing on the yacht?
Yes, it's an extensive refit. The top two decks, the top deck and the sun deck, are essentially new build areas. We've got a new hardtop sky lounge, pool going in on the sun deck, and the entire two decks have been reconfigured. So we have whole new bulkheads going in on the top deck, the owner's stateroom, and the exterior area of that deck. And then moving down to the vessel, the other three decks are full interior refits. We've got full new teak decks going on the boat. We've got a full paint job, courtesy of one of the panel members here. And so it's a very extensive refit. Yeah.
And that will take probably until, I guess, towards the next summer season, I suppose. Yeah,
we have a pretty aggressive timeline, helped along by some great contractors here, and we will be at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Okay, that's a very hard deadline indeed. Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much. Rupert, as you mentioned, GYG is stock exchange listed now, and its company has been in existence for a long time. Now you're headquartered in Palma. Is that just the historic choice, or also a strategic one for you?
I think it's a bit of both, really. I mean, historically, we've been in Palma since the beginning, so over 40 years with our headquarters, but we're very much a global company now. But I think from a strategic perspective, you only have to look outside of our virtual windows to see how materially important and popular Palma is as a refit destination. So it continues to make sense to be headquartered here.
Okay, okay. And how is, do you also see the rising trend in your business, as just mentioned by our two shipyard representatives? Is this also evident for you?
Yeah, I think we've seen some changes over the years. While Pinmar remains, highly focused and motivated to paint super yachts of all sizes, especially in Palma, and that's both motor and sail. I mean, our own market research shows a higher growth rate in the sort of larger end of the market, so the 70 to 90 meter and the 90 meter plus segments. This is sort of backed up, we've seen, by an average client LOA, length overall, which has grown for us from around 55 meters to approximately 75 meters average over the last 10 years.
That is indeed, if you look at the numbers, especially the number of very large boats over 80 meters, that has had the fastest growth rate of anything in the superyacht fleet over the past 10 years. That's really, it's a much higher growth rate than the other segments. So yeah, I can understand you there. And Tony, of course, you're also representing a local company. You mentioned you're almost 50 years in the business. And I know you feel strongly about the Balearics and their advantages. Can you let us in a bit on what you believe are the big advantages of being based in Palma?
Well, the big advantage is, like Will is explained, you can choose an amount of companies. For example, you want to paint the boat, you have a lot of paint companies. They can do the paint works. You want to use a carpenter, it's a lot of carpentry companies. Even if you need to welders, it's amazing companies that you can choose to do. Even we have a fantastic climate over the year. The temperatures is not a big difference. And also we have a good airport, very good connections with Europe. Not now, because now with the COVID, all the air flight companies is reduced the flights to direct to the island. But normally we have very good connections. And also is a very safe town. We have very good facilities, as here as Mallorca, STP. But I think the key is to have also in a very good location in the middle of the Med. Is a track that all the boats, they need to go to the Caribbean or need to go to the south of France. Is a stop point. And even I think the people is really nice people in the islands.
Well, I could not agree more. I was there last year. It's a lovely place indeed. You were just mentioning, of course, the number one issue at the moment, COVID. And how far is it impacting operations right now in Palma?
Well,
yeah, you can do it, Tony. That's fine.
Well, now we operate. We think in the last April, everybody was very dramatic because everybody received a lot of cancellation and a lot of hold-ons, But at the end, the life is continuous. The people need to refit the boat. The boats need maintenance, and we need to run it. Of course, we are not do amount of refits like the other years, but we are very happy with the amount of work we have at the moment. We are, I think, most of the companies is in the fully book, but all the companies is in a good stage of works. Even Astilleros or STP, I think they are busy, at the moment.
Yeah, this has been a very challenging year, just because, as you know, for us to allocate a new project, we need to finish the one in progress at the moment. And we reached a funny balance between the boats that they were about to come that delayed the arrival and the one that they were here, and we couldn't finish the project because some contractors were unable because of the restrictions of the flights or the cancellation or the close of borders. But with the month, everything came together, and STP managed to offer the availability, not closing the doors because we remain open, even with the hard time of the 8 days of complete lockdown. But with the months, everything came together, the project finished. We lost some holdouts, but at the end, we managed just delaying the season to complete most of them. So it was not that bad for us.
So in the end, the circumstance. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, yeah, I think as everyone is saying on here, you know, it's definitely presented some significant challenges for our industry, you know, related to lockdowns, travel restrictions, quarantines. We in particular, you know, move people around the whole of the world and Europe. So that's definitely added some challenges. But I think in most of the company's cases, I'd like to think, you know, we thought well prepared for the crisis. We managed to implement contingency plans, and thanks to sort of huge efforts from our health and safety team and back office, we've navigated our way through the worst of it. And as Tony will agree, fortunately for us painters, wearing PPEs standard practice due to the nature of our works. And I think from an order book perspective, you know, a bit of plus minus. We've seen some postponement, no cancellation on the one side, but on other sides, we've seen acceleration with some clients advancing refits due to sort of changing schedules of their yachts. So it's certainly been an interesting time.
Okay, thank you. I was just, as Carlos was talking, I would like to know from you, Carlos, yeah, you have the big new travel lift, the 1,000-ton lift. I think it came last year, if I remember correctly. Can you tell us a bit about the first experiences with the new travel lift? What has it done for your business?
Yeah, we were mentioning the yachting industry is growing and is getting larger, and it was a no-brainer for STP to get more options to haul out those 60-plus line. That at the moment we are more or less at the 85% range of all the super yachts in the world. That's not that bad. And in the water, as Rupert was saying, we can even paint a 96 plus in the water, 90. That is increasing our range of repairs. The travel lift it has been a huge new joiner of the logistics, and now together with the 700, we can double up the efforts, and we do 2 movements every day. And with the increase of the logistics on the limitation of the parking areas and the movement in the yard, it is working very well. At the moment, our team is quite happy. And Italian, I have to thank the Symbolight team because they are all the time on the line with us. And every time that we got a problem with the travel lift, they are responding immediately. And yeah, it's working very well, very, very well.
Okay. Can you just remind me with the new lift, what is sort of the maximum size of yacht you can lift out of the water?
Yeah, in theory it's 1,000 gross tonnage. And we did the load test with 1,200, okay? And that it was a challenge to get a boat that fits in our, as you remember, because we were here until midnight nearly trying to complete the load test, because it was a challenge to get a boat that fits in our pits with the dimensions and the size that we needed. And yeah, the largest that we got this season, it was 936 tons, that it was Shemara, a nice project that we got, and the largest sailing boat as well, it was about 600 tons. So it is an amazing machine actually, and with the wheel, the turns, the radius that she managed to do in a very limited space, it has been very well designed, and it's working very well.
Okay, so for the layman, for who maybe the tons means a bit less, you're talking 60, 65 meters thereabouts, I guess.
Yeah, that's our range of operation at the moment, yeah. On the hard standing. In the water, we can increase, as I mentioned, 90 plus.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Now maybe I can ask Rupert, we've seen a bit of an influx of foreign shipyard and supply companies coming into Palma, setting up a shop locally. Have you heard anything from them why they are coming to Palma?
I mean, yes, we've seen that. I see that as a positive thing. You know, that highlights, you know, that Palma is very much seen as an important and strategic refit location. It's supply and demand. But we should point out, it's not just shipyards, but many other international companies have got offices, workshops, which further complements, you know, the vast portfolio of highly professional, local established companies and trades already based here to best service the clients. I mean, an example, you know, our building in STP, the global building, you know, that concession started 10 years ago. Our expectation and business model was based on 65% occupancy. It's been 100% filled from day one. That's 24 offices and 12 workshops. So, you know,
Yeah.
many.
Yeah, I've been there last year. It's quite full indeed, and it's an exciting scene to be with all the yachts around it. And yeah, so it's a bit of a virtual cycle. There is business, supply companies come in, it improves the network and the amount of services that can be rendered, and then more business comes in a little bit, more or less like that, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Now just moving on. We discussed a bit the infrastructure, that everything's there, access, and what is the local community doing to support the refit industry? Of course, we have the Balearic Yacht Show, which is a great initiative from the local maritime cluster. Are there any other examples of what the local community is doing to support the refit industry? I can maybe ask Tony.
Yeah, well, the community, the government, the authorities, they help to us a lot. For example, the Balearic Marine Cluster is founded with the help of the IDI. IDI is in Conselleria de Industria, and they found the Balearic Marine Cluster. I'm the president too. And they create the Balearic, the cluster to develop and to increase the industry, the nautical industry, because after the years, the authorities, they saw that is a industry that is growing and is using a lot of people for employ a lot of local people, and is increased the industry, is increased the benefits in all the community, restaurants, rent cars, everything is increased, the economy, the local economy. And they are support everything. For example, now also we have the Camera de Commerce, they impulse the Balearic Yacht Show. The idea was from the cluster, but the financial was through the Camera de Comercio. That's one of the points. The other point is they help to us a lot with the training courses for the young people to start to learn some professions like the carpenters, painting, welders. And now I think in the next years the government will help a lot to us, because they saw that is a growing industry. And we also, like is explained you before, is coming a lot of companies from the north of Europe to implant his bases here, because it's a little bit complicated to sailing through the north when you are in the and for the reason you are in Amsterdam, and for the reason they are open the offices and the workshops in Palma, and this way it's coming more people, more industry, more boats, and I think in the future, the next years will be very, very, very good for everyone.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Ralph. I totally agree with Tony, and I think the trainings we've done to prepare people for working on the yards, on the workshops, but also in the technical offices and project management, so in every department of the yard, has been really important and positive for us, especially in the last season when we had the travel restrictions. Obviously, we are an open market, and we're happy to receive any subcontractor from abroad, and I think it's one of our selling points on our market. But thanks to having local people and people trained, and Pinmar and Naughty Paints, they are local. We have our own workshops for most of the engineering works. This has made it that we could finish the projects on time or with small delays, as Carlos was saying. And this, I think, has definitely put us in a good position regarding COVID, because even when there were travel restrictions, we were managing to finish the projects with most of the things done, because we had the local industry, not only with the local companies, but also with another companies from abroad that have based in Palma, and they have people here. So I think that investing in training people and preparing the industry, the local industry, has been definitely positive for us, and it's something we're all working on.
Yeah, okay. I think further to what Victor and Tony said, I think it's really key to highlight the proactiveness of the local companies. You know, I think what makes Palma such a success, even though there's a lot of competing companies, we all know that we need to get the boats to Palma, otherwise we've got nothing to compete against. And I think there's been a huge professionalization of the local and established companies who then jointly promote Palma as a very serious refit destination. I think obviously, as well as that, we've got the future vision to expand the existing facilities and increase capacity for the size of vessels to be able to complete refits here over the coming years. We're all interested to watch that space. And I think also as a bunch of local industries, you know, we have industry events such as this, various seminars. I can't not mention the Pinmar Golf, which ran for nearly over 30 years, which brought in nearly 1,000 industry experts every single year, and will soon be replaced by the Pinmar Festival. But I think there's definitely a very strong feeling from the local companies to play their part in bringing business to Palma, and I think the international companies are able to benefit off the back of that.
Okay, fantastic. Victor, maybe I could ask you, you mentioned a bit that the work is becoming more complex on the yachts, and yachts are also becoming bigger. If you would have to kind of categorize it, looking at the workload at Astilleros de Mallorca, how much is sort of regular maintenance and how much is refits? Do you have an idea about that?
Well, if you divide by the number of projects, most of our projects are regular maintenance. But if you divide by invoicing, maybe
yes, exactly.
we have more than half of our invoicing going to refit. We've done a lot of superstructure modifications. We have a big welding workshop that it's working a lot in the last years. We've done like 2 or 3 projects per year with new engines and new propulsion line, which is also quite complex. We've done a lot of paint jobs. I mean, most of the yachts that are modifying anyhow their superstructure are also doing full paint. So I think it's definitely growing. As Rupert was saying, the level of the local companies is increasing. So we are definitely seeing a transition from servicing to refitting. Yeah, I think now we could say that because obviously the invoicing is much bigger on this kind of project. So not in number of projects, but regarding the invoicing, more than half comes from refit. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite good development. And Carlos, of course, it might be a bit harder for you to answer because you're basically facilitating for a large part refits done by other companies. But would you say, if you look at the occupation of your yard, how much is refit and how much is regular maintenance? Do you have an idea about that?
Yeah, it's about 50-50 for us because don't forget that we only as well not only accommodate the super yachts as well. We are very pleased to receive the local people from the island that has their own projects or their own sailing boats or family boats or motorboats. So we try to get an answer to all of them together. Larger paint jobs have been increasing over the years. Larger hull refit, as Victor knows, are being shell plating work a lot happening in the island. Painting overall, it's growing. But the most challenging for us is just to make everything happening at the same time because it's a key to have a proper team effort. So one between the companies, so they don't step each other and they manage to complete the deadlines. That is the most challenging, to complete the schedule of each project without exceeding the line, so being able not to delay too much the next one. So it's a balance that is a challenge, but we managed to succeed so far.
That's probably the biggest part of your job, trying to fit everything in the puzzle and make sure that the business keeps flowing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And dealing with, you know, I'm a captain as well, and dealing with the owners and they change of mind all the time is not easy. And we are in the middle as well, and the companies are adapting, evolving, and as well as we. So we would like to just continue doing as good, and I hope that we are succeeding with the company so far.
Yeah, based on what Carlos is saying, we've seen something very positive in the last years, that even though STP obviously is not getting involved on the projects technically, they do get involved in the commercial process of the projects to see what jobs do the yachts need to do, if the time that they're booking it's enough, that they're not booking too much time or not enough time. This is definitely something positive because in general, we're lacking space most of the time on the year, all the companies. So they make sure that the yachts that go to STP, they go because they have work and that they have time enough. So the yachts coming afterwards won't be delayed. And this is something we're obviously working together. When we bring a project to them, we check with them if the time is enough, which companies are going to be involved. And I think we're improving together on this to make sure that it's a refit yard and that the projects happen on time.
Yeah, protecting the balance is key. So make sure that the node company is taking advantage of the other one. So that is extremely important.
So if I hear you a little bit, there's even kind of a shortage of space compared to all the people that would like to do projects in the Balearics. Is it indeed, we hear that more from some refit yards, that there's basically more customers than they can handle. Are you also seeing so much demand?
Yes, we are. That's why we are full at the moment till April and coming next year. But okay, this is a team effort, as I was saying before. We have to protect the companies that they have being STP or makes STP so successful. And as much space we can get, the better. But it's all about improving the amount of companies coming to the Balearics, the amount of vessels coming into the Balearics to make the whole industry, even if so, become bigger and stronger at the moment.
Yeah, I think there is a waiting list for most of the year. Even in the summer, 4 or 5 years ago, there were 2 months with much less activity. And even now we see that the beginning of August, it's still winter season and there's more work. And I think the fact of being so full and not having space, if you ask last minute, has in some kind made the clients learn that they have to book in advance. And this is because of the space, but it's also very positive for all the contractors and for ourselves, because then we can plan with more time the projects and make sure they are successful. So I think at the end, this has this positive thing that we have a better understanding of how the season is going to be, how many people we are going to need and which projects we're going to run. Because if you want to plan the project with a month in advance, you are just not going to have space in Palma to do it. So it's been positive to have feedback from the clients about what they have to do with a year or sometimes even more than a year, so we can plan everything.
This might be a good moment to shift the wheel as our client on the panel. It is from earlier discussions with refit companies, I've heard many times that the problem is quite often that the client thinks of a certain scope of work and then starts and there's more and there's more and there's more. And how is your experience with that with the current boat, Will?
There's definitely an element to that. Thankfully, we did most of that before we arrived in Palma. So there's not been a huge addition since arriving here. Yeah, the space is a challenge here, as the guys with the facilities have just said. My experience over the years has been that it's been very difficult to get into STP. 10 years ago, I remember having difficulty year on year trying to get in here. We're in a very good position here, and well, from my side, a big thank you to all the panel members who we're clients of all of them, and they've done a fantastic job here in the Balearics, and the level of professionalism and the expertise here has only grown year on year. We've seen it year on year, and it's a big reason for us coming here year on year.
So you've definitely been planning ahead for Coral Ocean. You've been started on time.
We had a few changes of direction here and there. I think with COVID that put a little bit of a change for us. So we're never planning it as much in advance as we'd like, but ultimately we worked both with STRS and STP to get the timeline we need to do our refits.
Okay, very good. And maybe Rupert, I can ask you, because you are also working in multiple locations around the Med and even north of Europe. Is the refit industry, do you find that it is so fully booked everywhere?
No, I wouldn't say it's fully booked everywhere. I think STP is quite unique in that. basis. There's a lot of demand,
Okay.
the ability to choose your own contractors. But no, I mean, we're busy in all locations. I mean, of course, we could always be busier, but I think generally the refit market is strong. I think, you know, we're looking forward for next year. You know, obviously we've got to adapt to the new normal as COVID lingers on. But from our group perspective, you know, we've got a very strong order book for 2021 in both new build and refit, which means we're operating in line with market expectations. So I think, you know, I'm not, you know, confident and optimistic about the direction things are going.
That's a good moment to a natural switch to that topic. So your outlook for 2021, you're quite positive about that, as I gather. Maybe Tony, how are you looking at next year? So what is your expectation?
Well, from my point of view, I think we will have a very good year. I think the expectations will be high because a lot of boats is not done the refits this year. They cancel or they put in hold on for the next season. And I think the boats will start the season as soon as the other years. Normally the season is start with the Grand Prix in Monaco, but probably this year even is a start before with the Easter time. And after the summer, we think we'll have an amazing season again because the boats needs maintenance in all the points: engineering, painting, interiors, and we think we'll have a very good experience this year.
Okay, so what you're saying basically is it's part of it is delayed maintenance from what should have happened this year will be next year. And part of it is also expectation that the season will be very strong in terms of, you know, charter business, etc. You expect it to be busy also with the using the boats, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of people is using the boat because also a lot of boats is not done charters last summer, and also they will have a good expectation for the next summer. I think in general will be benefit for all the industry.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, Carlos, we heard already a little bit from you that you're busy at least until April, May. So I guess you also have a good feeling about next year.
Yes, we are. We have booking, and as I said, STP and has this amazing combination of location, as Rupert and Tony are saying, that if we treat the client properly and we continue encouraging the owners to choose our facilities, I don't see a reason why not they should come, even with the difficult times and restriction that we are suffering now. This thing will be over soon, hopefully, and we will move on.
And same feeling for you, Victor?
Yeah, I think, well, we talk more about the seasons, winters, let's say. So this winter, there has been obviously a slowdown because of COVID. We see it especially on all the, let's say, stylish works, interiors, painting, and so on. I think, as Tony was saying, because of the charter yachts not making much profit, and also the private yachts that they couldn't use them much, they have decided to hold some works. So we think, especially with the positive news we've seen in the last weeks about the vaccine and so on, that the next season, the next winter is probably going to be a boom of projects. To be honest, our biggest scare now is not to have space enough with all the inquiries we are receiving, because we are already receiving communications from clients that they want to do quite big refits on the next season. They plan to have a good summer season, and afterwards they will have to do the things that normally they would have to do on that time, but also the ones that they didn't do this season. So we think that the next winter is going to be very busy for all of us, hopefully.
Okay, well, that sounds quite good from all of you. A positive sentiment, also partly catching up from things not done this year, and then, well, growing demand anyway. Alice, maybe this is a good moment to start looking if we have any questions from the audience.
Yes, thank you, everyone. So I've seen a couple of questions from Diane. And Diane, I was going to give you the option. Hang on, sorry, Danielle. I was going to give you the option. Let me just check if I can unmute you If you want to ask, then feel free. Otherwise, I've seen you said something in the chat, and I can read it out for you. So I'll just give you a second to do so. Otherwise, I'll read out the question. Okay, I'm going to read it out.
Hello.
Oh no, you're
Hi.
talking. Hello,
I'm
Daniele?
sorry. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Morning, everyone, and thanks for the very interesting information you're sharing today and experiences. I just had a question on, you partly already replied about the increase in deliveries of yachts, specifically about 30 meters. So challenging sizes for refit and maintenance jobs on upwards. Also followed seminar yesterday from the Balearic Yacht Show. I was just thinking how in the future it will be important to invest even more in the infrastructure in order to, you know, assist all the new yachts that will need refit and maintenance jobs. Because I see in the med, we all see many new facilities being created or implemented. So just to stay on the top as you guys do all the time. Thank you.
Anyone who would like to answer that?
Well, yeah, as I already answered the question, I think it's just if we get more space, we will use it. As I said, it's about the team effort and making sure that the Balearics in global, we continue succeeding with getting new customers and protecting the companies who may grow up the industry to this high level that we are getting now, you know. And yeah.
Yeah, I think it's obvious that more and bigger yachts are being built, and the refit industry it's adapting to this, and there are more and more yachts new every year. And I would say that to create or even to convert a marine shipyard to a yacht shipyard, it's quite easy. The difficulty, I think, is to create the industry of all the subcontractors around the shipyard. And this is, I think, our strongest point in Palma. And even so, there are more and more shipyards. I think it will take a while until they have the industry to give all the services that we have. Because we can say that in Palma, we can do anything that is needed on a yacht. And it has taken a lot of years to achieve this. So it won't be so easy. At the same time, we're working on having bigger facilities to be able to hold bigger yachts. Obviously, the market is going in that direction, and we're trying to adapt to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and following that line, I would like to have a click to our new facility as well in Varadero, Valencia. They are just opening to market. They are happy to receive that exact size that these audience inspector was saying, the 30 plus. It will be their range. They have a brand new 300 travel lift ready to use. And as Victor is saying, it takes time to grow up the industry. It takes time to bring the companies to the location. But if you give them the chance, I'm sure that they will succeed as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alice,
There's just one more question from Pro Barcos. He's asked, how can we know what the maintenance of a yacht will cost us?
Yeah, well, we have, I think, more than half of our clients are repeating clients. So we try to develop a client-shipyard deep relation. One of the things we do when we're servicing the yachts every year is to create a maintenance plan. So before they're leaving the shipyard, we have already seen with them and we have quoted the jobs they need to do on the next season. So at least with a year in advance or 5 years in advance with the special surveys, we discuss with them and we make a proposal with them for the jobs they need to do on the next season. Because we basically take advantage of having them on the shipyard so we can see every job and we have more time to discuss what's going to happen on the next season. So we believe on this. We think this is the future when the yachts will know what they have to do every year. It's not just bringing something to repair, it's to prepare in advance them so they don't need to repair anything. And this is something we're working on. It's a project we have dedicated a lot of time. And with our repeating clients, we use it a lot, and they're very happy with it. Not only for the operation of the yacht, the captain and the chief engineer, but more especially for management and the owners, because ultimately they know how much they're going to spend on the time, which is many times something very important for the clients to know.
Yeah, I think that's good. We have a number of clients now who we work with where we have a rolling program. As the yachts get larger, the most important factor is downtime as equally important as how much they're going to spend. And they normally have a very strict allocation. And obviously now, as I said, the boat's getting bigger. You don't have time to paint the whole boat. So we have a rolling program. And obviously the ability to paint on both sides of the Atlantic is important to meet their sort of cruising plans, both in the States and here. But what that does is balance out and put in a sort of financial budget from a paint perspective on a sort of 5-year plan. Okay. As to what the total cost is, it's almost impossible to say on the owners and their quality expectations.
Okay. Alice, I see one question there, which might be a nice one to do as the last one, from Kate, about sailing yacht projects, if they might be at risk if the market is so busy. And I think both, especially Carlos, has something to say about the share of the sailing yachts. So it could be one to pick that one as last one, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. As I was mentioning before, STP is not only super yachts and motorboats. As I said before, the 45% of the clients we received in 2019 were sailing boats. We paint them in the water and we use the handstand. And from the riggers' point of view, I have to say the riggers here are absolutely amazing what they do. The masts that we pull out in Mallorca is absolutely amazing. The biggest mast, it was 65 meters, I believe, or 55. It is one of the biggest masts in the world. And we do it here with such a routinary that it's amazing, together with the subcontractors that we get, the amazing crane drivers. So it's not only motor, it's sailing boats, and the logistic behind it and the amount of money that moves is something to take in consideration as well. And to find out with this question is not only 50 plus sailing boats, we protect as well the local customer. That's why our prices are so affordable as well for the person like you and me that could have a small sailing boat for a family and give a trip, and they find a nice facility to perform their project.
So you're definitely looking after the interest of the sailing yacht owner. They are not at risk because the market is too full, too busy. It's a good business.
So. Yeah, exactly. It's a good business. And we, as I said, here in STP, we do business between 15 meters, even some smaller tenders and so on and so forth. But between 15 and 55 meter sailing boat or 60 meter sailing boat, we take them all. So it's,
yeah, I totally agree. I think the sailing market is a very important market for Palma, always has been. So it should be protected, and I think they will always come here.
We don't must to forget that the industry, the most important clients in the past and 10 years ago was the sailing boats. Mallorca was the base of the sailing boats. All the sailing boats come to Palma to do the refits for the riggers company, for the facilities, and also for the deep of the harbor. That is important, and we continue to working with the sailboats. But now the shipyard of the new builds is production more motor yachts than sailboats. That's the reason, because in the sea you see more motor yachts than the sailboats.
Mm-hmm. I think we adapt to the market. And if there are more motor yachts, we are having more projects with motor yachts, but definitely Palma is a hub for sailing yachts. For refit, because there has been, 45% of sailing yachts is something I think unique in the refit industry. And also for the super yacht regattas we have, for all the sail makers. There's an industry around the sailing yachts in Palma that I think is quite unique, at least in Europe. So definitely we're super interested on refits on sailing yachts. We have also around 50% of sailing yachts as our clients. And I think this is not going to change, because they're also very complex yachts, and the projects with them are very interested.
Okay,
thank you so much, everyone. I think we're just finished in time there. So
Okay. No, if no more from you, Alice, I think we
there's a
have to
couple of
round
questions,
up.
but we've got to round up now. Maybe I can send you by email, and maybe we can ask you to
Yeah,
answer them
exactly.
now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, indeed, we're over on just a little bit, not too much. So, well, I would like to thank Balearic Yacht Show for giving us the opportunity to host this webinar. I would like to thank our panel members for their active participation and very useful comments indeed. And so that's a great team, and all the audience also for joining.